Take on the fun this footy season with our good mates at Ladbrokes. Ever wanted to connect, banter and share tips with a community of diehard footy heads? Well, it's time to check out Communities, available in the Ladbrokes app. There's a community for any sport for you to follow. Plus, there's even racing mail from Peter Moody and Glenn Boss. So, jump on the Ladbrokes app this footy season and check out Communities. T's and C's apply and available on the website. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
The cost of living, the crisis we're in now, it's nothing new to consumers. We're all trying to save some dollars where we can. So this is some good news, especially in the high-cost world of electricity. You don't need solar panels to slash your power bill. As we transition to renewables, immediately investing in solar panels might not be the smartest way to reduce your power bill. That's counter to everything I always thought happened with this. So how can you tap into abundant, cheap solar energy and slash your power bill by up to $1,000 annually? Joining us now is a man that can steer us in the right direction, because I think there's a lot of confusion in this sector at the moment. Energy expert and co-founder of EnergyFlex, Garry Harding. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
What's their strategy without solar panels? How do you save money without the expense of solar panels?
Oh, Bill, listen, thanks for your time this morning. Look, it's important that people understand that the reality is that there's plenty of solar out there in the grid. There's so much of it that the actual price of solar energy, or energy in general, plummets to near zero levels during the day. So what we're really trying to let everyone know is that it's all about your timing of use at the moment, about how you use energy, when you use energy, more importantly. So solar at your house may or may not be the right answer. And again, it does sound like a bit counterintuitive. Everyone thinks that solar is the best thing, and typically it's a very good thing to have. But there's a lot of solar energy out there, and even if you're in the case of a renter, you can't necessarily control what you put on your roof. So the reality is being aware of when energy is cheap and when it's expensive in the grid is really the key to understanding how to drive down your energy bill. So putting solar on your roof, especially if you can't use all of it during when it's generated or store it, is really not necessarily the best answer.
So a lot of other people have got solar, as you said, so there's a lot of solar that gets fed through the grid. What is it? Is it a home battery to store your solar energy? What's the go with the batteries? Where does that sort of sit at the moment?
Yes. Bill, any sort of storage is a really sensible idea. It's that idea that when it's generated and when it's cheap, you should try to store it. So we can store energy in a few different forms. Batteries is typically the thing we all think of. But again, it's about getting the right size battery for the use in your home when you need it the most. And this, I think, is the thing that people don't understand. When do they need it the most? You know, everyone comes home for dinner at between 5 and 7. This is when we do things for our family, cook the dinners and do the air conditioning and so forth. The reality is that might be just the area that you need that battery for to get you through the expensive spike, because the wholesale market, that's exactly when it's the most expensive. What we're trying to say to people, if you know and understand how you use energy, then you can plan for it. You can actually get capability to store that energy. It might be a battery. It might be going back to a stored hot water service. You know, electrically heated, stored hot water during the day makes sense, because if you're going to get that energy for free during the day, store that energy in hot water. It's just a different way of thinking about it, and maybe not do things like run your dishwasher at 7 o'clock at night, typically when we all finish our evening meals. Think about putting that on an automatic cycle to come on at 10 o'clock the next day when the sun's up, wind's blowing and so forth, and we get that renewables from the grid. Again, thinking about when it's cheap, use it when it's cheap, and that's exactly what EnergyFlex, our app, does for you.
So you're taking the renewables from the grid rather than having the panels on your roof. Is that what, if you've got battery storage?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely a strategy. Take the renewables from everybody else that's doing the good things, and there's big solar farms that we've again, the government and so forth are building out there in the countryside for us. But we need to use that energy when it's available. Again, it's important to use all the renewables that are available in the grid to help the grid. This is a strategy to help the grid as well, by the way. Again, we've got enough solar out there, and rooftop solar has been a great thing. But at the moment, we can say, hey, look, there's enough. Let's use what we've got to help the grid, use the energy that's there, and really take benefit of it. As I say, going out there and automatically thinking I need to stick 10 kilowatts of solar on the roof because I've been advised to do that is really, you need to take the step back from that and think, how do I use energy? How can I use that solar, even if I had it on my roof? You might not be home during the day and have no way of storing it. So it's really not doing you any good, because feed-in tariffs, as everyone knows, are plummeting to near zero levels. So there's no point pushing more solar into the grid. Bottom line is let's use what's there.
So just to get it right again, you can have a battery set up in your home and you can suck renewable energy out of the grid, that solar energy out of the grid that other people have generated, and you can store that and use it at night and offset your peak usage in your house, put your power bill down.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. Batteries are a great way to offset your cost. The whole idea is to grab that energy when it's available. And as I say, the grid needs you to do this to get that energy stored so we can use it at time of peak demand. That battery in your house is going to be worth a lot of money to you in the end. Again, it's a good capital upgrade for your house, and it can help you with your bills. And again, there's battery systems coming that are portable. Renters can actually do this as well. Renters can actually think about getting portable batteries on their house. So there's ways and means for everybody to take this next step. But you don't need to go and buy the world's biggest battery. Again, back to how much you use typically in your house is what's important here.
Oh, now you got me interested. So that was my next question, is what sort of battery do you get? How much? We're always told, again, the myth is, battery technology, really expensive. It's going to come down, though. Don't buy one now.
Well, there's always that. The best time to buy a battery is always going to be in the future because of that theory. But the reality is, again, Bill, you may not need to go out and spend $10,000 or $15,000 on the battery. You might, if you're thinking about it, you might want to spend $5,000 and get the first stage of battery and see how that goes. These batteries can be banked together in the future. The bottom line is understand what you need, and that's exactly what EnergyFlex, our app, does. We actually look at your time of use. We understand exactly when you use energy, and unless there's some wholesale change in the way you're living in your house and so forth, we can sit there and say, this is exactly what you probably need to minimise your capex. Because I think that's what everybody's worried about. What do I do? What do I do first? Do I go and put a whole bunch of solar on? Do I go and buy the world's biggest battery? No. Let's understand how you use it. And neither of those decisions might be good for you. But really understand how you use energy in the future is the important thing. That's the real key to this. Understand how you're fitting with the renewables transition and then make decisions based on that. As I say, solar might not be the right thing. It may be absolutely the right thing. If you cannot look at the way you use energy, you will not be able to understand what your next step might naturally be. So we're just saying, take a step back, look at the way you use energy, and that's what our app does. It shows you exactly how you're using it, and the decisions from that point become really obvious, and it empowers the consumer to make the right decision.
Any rebates available for buying batteries, or is it all on solar?
Oh, look, there are rebates. It's a state-based jurisdictional thing at the moment. They come and go. But again, what we're saying is be very careful about what decisions you make and then think about how that relates to the rebates and so forth and the payback periods that come with these things. So, yes, there are rebates around for solar and batteries in some cases, but let's face it, if you understand what you need, you may not be wanting to go down those paths because you want to take control of your asset. You want to get the return of investment understood so you know how much you've spent and when you're going to get that money back. And then again, one of the most important things to think about, Bill, is being on the right tariff matched to your solar generation or your battery storage needs, because there are retail offers out there that really support that and others that don't. So again, this is what we do at EnergyFlex, show you what retail offering is out there that best suits the way you're using it today, and that might be different in 6 months' time, and that's when you could change retailers because you've now got a battery on. So these things are things to look at consistently, but with our app, we show you how to do it in a simple way. We rate you out of 5, basically, how well you're using renewable energy. And I think everybody doesn't know. They usually jump on our app and they're about a 1 to 2 out of our 5 rating. And 3 of our rating is when you're starting to understand what you're doing, you're getting your usage into that nice curve of where the solar is available, and then you can start making sensible decisions. But without that measure, you really don't know where you're headed.
Have you got any case studies or an example on what sort of, for instance, someone could save with the right setup if they had a battery and they were maximising their savings? What sort of dollars could you look at taking off your bill if you do it right?
It's significant, Bill. It's a great question. On our website, energyflex.com.au, there's a bunch of case studies there, but people are saving in excess of $1,000 a year. We're getting what we class as a super user that comes on and actually gets to zero bills because they're absolutely in sync with the use and the storage of renewables. So they're driving down to $0 cost. And some are going the other way. They're starting to say, you know what, when the grid really needs my energy, I can start to pump it into the grid and really get paid for it. And some of these market-exposed offerings from the retailers, you can actually make money out of your energy asset. Let's call your house an energy asset. People need to think about it like an asset rather than just I've got to pay another bill. Well, if you start using your energy sensibly, the grid will reward you, and the way you will go in the future is start to drive down your bills to zero and potentially start to make money. Businesses that are bigger consumers can actually make money by using energy at the right time in sync with the grid. So this is the future. It's heading towards this cyclic cost. It's a bit like buying petrol. Bill, if you wouldn't drive up to a service station if it was $5 a litre, you'd keep driving. But if it was 50 cents a litre, you'd jump right in.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what do we expect with electricity prices moving forward, given this pursuit of net zero, the effect it's going to have on pricing moving forward?
Well, I think what you're going to see is a lot more of this cyclic price change. What you're seeing right now in the wholesale grid, again, our app shows you it's expensive in the morning and it's much more expensive in the evening peak. So what we're showing you is what to avoid. And as I say, during the bulk of the day, it's nearly free, Bill. So if you can use energy during the day, that's what we're saying. Go hard, store it where you can in hot water, do those chores at home. Businesses should be thinking about doing exactly the same thing. How do they, manage their air conditioning or their refrigeration and so forth around those peaks? It's really important to think about that. But I think what you're going to see is, as coal-fired generation comes off, and we all want coal-fired to go to reduce and so forth, but the reality is we're going to be very much susceptible to the highs and lows of renewables, which means when the sun's up, it's going to be free. When it's down, we're going to pay a lot of money for it because it's going to have to come out of stored means like grid-scale batteries and so forth, or your home battery. When you will be sitting at home, if you've got your battery, got your right setup, you've got your EnergyFlex rating up to a 3, you'll be comfortable that, yes, it doesn't matter if the energy grid has gone high in price, I'm okay because I'm self-sufficient. This whole idea of self-sufficiency and resilience is coming, Bill, where people are going, you know what, I just want to continue to live my life. The energy grid can go dark if it wants. We can have a blackout for 2 days. I don't care because I've got my battery, I know how to use it, and I've got the power back in this relationship. So there's a lot to be said about feeling good about where you're at as a consumer, in terms of your usage of energy and resilience and batteries. But the reality is if you don't do that, you're going to be susceptible to cost increases as they keep going and as battery and stored energy becomes more expensive. You just need to know if you're going to use battery stored energy from the grid in the future, you're probably going to have to pay for it quite significantly.
Yeah. All right, that's fascinating. If anyone's listening, and I'm certainly interested, where can people find out a bit more about how to get help on this?
Thanks, Bill. Look, energyflex.com.au. Our website has all the information you'll probably ever need. I think about this sort of stuff. We're trying to make it really simple for everybody, mums and dads. That rating, as I mentioned, is that one measure that simplifies the whole thing. If you're down in the low 1s and 2s, you've got a bit of work to do. If you're up in the 3s and 4s, well, you're on top of things. So, and our app's available. It's free. It's a free app. You jump on board, download it from any one of the stores, and get started. And if you've got any questions, please just send in the queries, and we'll answer them for you. And we've actually got a plan comparison capability on our website, on our app, I should say, Bill, where people can jump in and see exactly what retail plan they should be on based on how they use energy. And that's the important part. How you use energy relates to how you should be buying it.
Great. All right. Fascinating. Lovely to chat with you. Thanks for your time, Garry.
No worries, Bill. Thanks.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Ladbrokes. Have you heard about Ladbrokes Racing Club? Ladbrokes is partnering with some of the country's leading trainers and jockeys to give punters the ownership experience through their stable of over 30 thoroughbred, greyhound and harness runners. Ladbrokes Racing Club members get the opportunity to name new runners and follow their progress from day one all through the Ladbrokes app. Join the Ladbrokes Racing Club today. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Whether you're renovating your own block, can't seem to finish that DIY project you started, or love a bit of DIY but not sure where to start, head to your local Mitre 10 for a little inspiration. At Mitre 10, you'll find the best brands at great prices, experts that can deliver some mighty helpful advice, tips and tricks, and the right tools you need to get your DIY projects done right the first time. Visit mitre10.com.au. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10.
There's nothing quite like coming home to something you adore each day. At Kinsman Kitchens, we believe that's the feeling you should experience every time you step into your kitchen. With Australian-made cabinetry, on-trend looks and design solutions for all kinds of spaces, an expert Kinsman designer can help you create a kitchen that not only looks great, but is functional for you and your family. For that welcoming feeling, the decision's always Kinsman. Book your free design appointment at kinsman.com.au.